stuffy, rainy, miserable, I have a sinus headache day. Anytime the barometric pressure goes crazy, my head goes crazy. And today my head is like, oh my gosh, it's bombing. Thank goodness the storm is moving out, and thank goodness the storm is going away, because we had a direct hit on New Orleans. And when it hit New Orleans, thank God, not as much life loss as they had predicted. They were really worried. Some life lost, but massive, massive flooding. And they said it could be 2 weeks before they get electricity back. So if you have friends or relatives there, I hope that they were smart enough to flee to Georgia and spend time with you. I hope that they are in safe circumstances. I hope that nobody is stuck out there in that, because it looks really, really rough. Water is one of those powerful, powerful things. We're dealing with about 24 to 36 hours of rain predicted now in the south for the states that we serve, from Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina. So y'all please, take care, because they said we may have some flash flooding in our area. We may have some tornadoes stir up, which we don't like. We happen to live not too far from Tornado Alley, and we don't like that. So please prepare. And the best way to prepare is to listen to your local news and to have a weather radio. So get yourself a weather radio and just be prepared, because they said we could have 4 to 6 inches of rain even in the areas that we serve. So please be aware and be ready. Now, yesterday we had a little bit of a glitch with Denise Caldwell's music at the end, but we have fixed that. And instead of the song that we were going to do, because it was very short, I have chosen to feature her on a song that I know many of you love, and it is Amazing Grace, My Chains Are Broken. There's so many people facing so many things, and we feel bound by something horrible. We feel bound by something tragic. We feel bound by something that hurts. And so we're going to go to Denise's music now, and I want you to just sit back, and I want you to enjoy. She is an amazing talent. She is a wonderful, wonderful lady with this heart about this big, and she's giving, giving, giving. She has for over 20 years at Harbor Ministries, where she and her husband Danny co-pastor. Wonderful, wonderful family. You know the Bryson family, and I know you love them. So Papa Jack, this one goes out to you, and I want you to sit back and enjoy your baby girl as she delivers a great song.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was
Okay, that music prepared you for today's program. It was calming, it was wonderful, it makes you just want to sit back and chill a little bit because when we're predicted to have 100% rain all day long, I want you to stay off the roads, I want you to stay out of traffic, I want you to sit at home and just enjoy, relax. Let's call today sanity. Today is a day that you just fix yourself something to eat, maybe a pot of soup, put it on, and you spend time at home. When we have tons of rain, you don't have any business out on the roads anyway, so stay at home. I found something that I want to deliver to you because so many people in our area know and love this couple. They were married for over 65 years. And it was an honor and a pleasure to be able to pay tribute to Mary and Grady Anderson when they were alive. They spent time with us here at the set. We got to know them. We spent many happy meals with them at the Yellow Jacket. We had so much fun just being a part of the last years of their life. They were both amazing, wonderful, wonderful people, and truly both had a heart of gold. So today we're going to share a visit that Mary and Grady did with us. And I love that after over 60 years of marriage, they still had the sparkle in the eye for each other. And that was so very, very precious. They were both dear, wonderful people who loved the community that they lived in and that they served. And you know their daughter, Shirley Singleton, you know Coach Ron, everybody knows them. And when I look back on all the years in television, I don't think there's any one interview that touched me any more than this one did, because it is honoring two people who made a commitment before God to love and honor each other forever, and they did exactly that. Let's go visit with Mary and Grady Anderson.
We interviewed Bob and Evelyn Blackstone, 61 years of marriage, and I said, I want to talk to other people who made it 61 years. Mary, how was he so lucky to have you for 61 years?
Oh, I don't know if he's lucky or not. He thinks he is. That's the main thing.
I know he is. Now, Grady, when you proposed to her, was it a big deal, or did you just say, come on, let's go get married? Was it a big deal?
I'd like to go back and tell you how I met her.
Okay.
Mary's father owned the only convenience store in the little community that we grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
And they lived above the store. And I had just finished a year in college and came home for summer break. And for some reason, I went up to the store to make a purchase. I don't remember for what. But I heard someone coming down the stairwell. And when I looked up, I saw the most beautiful woman ever.
Oh, wow. I can see that.
And she came on down, she passed me, she spoke, she smiled, and I certainly wasn't in any hurry to leave. And I made it a point to get around and get a discussion started, and we discussed topics of interest.
Mm-hmm.
And when I left the store that day, I said, that will be the woman that I marry.
Wow.
There you go.
And
wow.
So the trips then were more frequent, and they were longer.
Uh-huh.
And pretty soon we were dating.
Okay. Was she, gosh, in the community where you lived, it was a small community.
Right.
Was there a lot to choose from, or was she just that special one? Did you know her in school? Did you know her before? Had you ever seen her before that day?
I was 4 years ahead of her.
Okay. Okay.
And she remembered me in school because I played basketball.
Uh-huh. You probably had your eyes on him long before he knew it, didn't you?
I don't know. See, I had a boyfriend already.
Oh,
She had a
okay.
boyfriend
So
already.
I had to quit my boyfriend for him.
Uh-huh. Was it worth it, Mary?
Well, I guess it was.
I bet it
'Cause
was.
I
bet
I
it
had
was.
picked this boy out when he came to our school and gone with him through the 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. And that's when I had to quit him to go with Grady.
Now, how old were you when y'all met?
I was 21,
So you were 16?
and she was 18.
18, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 18.
Now, immediately, did you fall in love with him?
Well, I probably didn't right off, you know. I don't remember that I did.
But were you absolutely taken with her, and you
Absolutely.
never questioned it?
Never questioned, not
And
from day one.
61 years later, 61 years
But see,
later.
people try to make it too hard, and that's the way it's supposed to
Yeah,
be. You
yeah,
just
that's
Well, let me
exactly
put it this
right.
way.
see them and you fall in love.
If I had known then what I know now, I would still pick her out of the crowd.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
There you go.
61 years. Now, in 61 years, you're an educator.
That's correct.
What did you teach?
I taught physical science and social science, and I left with 47 years of service.
Wow.
I actually taught 46, but I was never sick a day in my life. And I taught many years before they started giving sick leave. And when they did, it was just 1 day a year. And over the years, I built up better than a year. And when it came time to retire, and like I say, I'd never missed a day due to sickness. And so I decided, well, sick leave is what it was designed for. And for some reason, I've never needed it. And I didn't feel like that I could go to some doctor and get some impropriety way of getting maybe something done so that I could draw it. Because I could, see, I built those there, some of those days back there when I was making practically nothing. But I would have, in the end, I would have received full pay at the salary that I was making at the time.
Wow.
So I decided I would just return it to the state.
Amazing.
And that's what I did, and they gave me 1 year extra on my retirement. So I taught 46 years, but I left with 47 years.
Wow. Now, Mary, what did you do? Did you work outside the home?
Well, we got in the chicken business for one thing, and so
Then you
that
really
was with the hatching eggs, what it was, and so
How many years did y'all do that?
about 20.
Up in 20 years.
Yeah, and then after that, then I went to Clifton Precision at Peachtree and worked for 20 years. They call it Moog or something like that today. But back then it was like Litton Industries. So I worked up there 20 years, which was about 30 or 35 miles drive each way, you know.
And then, in the middle of all this happiness, you had this gorgeous daughter.
That's true.
You have a beautiful daughter. Was one child, you had one child. Did you ever want more children?
Well, listen, I grew up during the Great Depression. And I didn't want to have more children than I could educate. And in fact, the business is, before Mary and I ever bought a car, we put money in the bank to educate her,
Wow.
to make sure
Wow.
that she would have. But it was interesting. I only put $1,000. But then when I went to college, I could go for 3 whole months, and I would pay for room and board, books, tuition, and all for about $73.
Oh my gosh.
And then,
Today, that wouldn't even buy your books for
Buy
one
your
course. No.
and then I worked. I had to work my way through. I milked cattle at the farm, and I also swept the dining hall twice a day. And for that, I got $10 a month, $30 for 3 months' work. So they applied that toward my tuition and all. So actually, it cost about $43 for 3 months.
Wow.
And so I put $1,000 in, but when the time came for her to go to college, I wouldn't have got her front foot into
No.
the door. So.
No. Now, a lot of
Really?
people know your beautiful daughter. And she is drop dead gorgeous, inside and out. Inside and out. Has she always been a special young lady?
Yes, she
Always.
has. She's
Always.
always
Yeah.
been special.
Always.
Well, and she also became a teacher, didn't
That's
she?
correct.
Yeah.
My father was a teacher ahead of me.
Okay.
That's-
And did you encourage her, or did she just look at you and say, I want to be like my dad?
No, she at first didn't think she wanted to teach, and she went off and took other courses down in Atlanta. What was it?
To that School of Art.
School of Arts.
Art.
Yeah, she's very good at art.
You know what I can see her doing? Running a salon and telling women how to feel good about themselves and how to dress and how to do their makeup. I think she would be so cool at that.
But finally, she decided she wanted to teach, and so she went back and took the educational courses that permitted her to do so.
Well, do you think that worked for her, because then she married an educator?
That's true.
You know, do you think there might have been a plan there?
Might have.
Might have been. Might have been.
She couldn't have beat Ron.
No.
No, he's a prince of a guy. There's
He
no
is.
question about
Yeah,
it.
He is.
he's perfect.
He's very good to her. He
Yeah.
looks after her and cares for her.
He sure
Yeah.
does.
Now, in 61 years, you still live on the family property?
That's correct.
I know there's an old home place there where
Yeah.
your mother and dad lived,
Yeah.
is that right?
That's right.
And what's your address? Is it North Carolina, Tennessee? What's your address?
But right now, we decided we wanted to keep a Tennessee address, and so our address is P.O. Box 177, Turtletown, Tennessee.
Okay.
And the reason for that is quite simple. It's 25 miles to Murphy, and if you get a registered letter or anything like that, you'd have to drive 50 miles round trip, whereas if I go to Turtletown, it would only be about 7 or 8 miles round trip.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Now, you live in still a farming community, don't you?
Yes, we do. We still, in fact, I still farm. But of course, I'm just a shadow of the man that I was before the accident.
Right.
But I still farm. I can still drive a tractor and I mow my yard, but that's about it. I can't do any kind of work with hand tools and that sort of thing. That day is past.
Let's talk a little bit about 47 years of working, never missing a day's work for sickness.
That's right.
And then you were in the hospital for how long in intensive care?
Close to 2 months.
Okay. I met you before I met you because I was having dinner with somebody one night and they told me your story. And they told me that you were in Erlanger in critical condition, basically in a coma, and to please ask for prayer for you. So I asked for prayer for you long before I met you.
Oh, that's,
And a lot of people said, boy, wait till you meet them, wait till you, and everybody was encouraged that you would come home and you would recover. And you've recovered to about, is it 75% possibly?
it depends. I don't think mentally that it's bothered me in any way, form, or fashion. But to give you some idea, I saw my doctor, Dr. Bell, I have in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he told me that he was there the night that I was brought in. And he said he told his nurse the next day, he said, the man won't survive. He says, I've never seen anyone survive an accident and an injury like he has. And he said, when I learned that you did survive, I said to her that he'll be a vegetable. He'll never be able to speak, he'll never be able to talk, he'll never be able to walk. And I had some crushed vertebrae back here, and I also had a spinal injury. And they told her, my wife said, that will just have to remain and stay where it is. There's no way he can undergo that operation tonight. So I was nearly a month before I woke up.
Wow.
And when I did wake up, they rolled me down, x-rayed my back, and they said, we don't understand. Said every bone is in place and knitting properly.
Oh my gosh. We understand.
Yeah.
We understand because hundreds of thousands of people were praying for you.
That's true.
You were on every prayer chain anywhere. You were on everybody was praying for you.
That's true.
The accident that you're referring to took your young grandson's life.
That's right.
Today, every single day, as you leave your home, you are right across the street from where this happened.
That's right.
How do you deal with that?
I'll be honest with you, it's something I've not been able to deal with.
I have been to that site.
People have told me that time would heal, and I hope that in time it does. But right now, it hurts.
I know it does. I know it does. And your only grandson was named after you.
That's
He was
true.
named Brady. And we have shown photos of Brady a lot. Actually, Brady Singleton is on the calendar that I did last year. And out of everybody we've ever talked about honoring and thinking about, that was the one. There was no decision to be made. It had to be Brady Singleton. He lived a very, very blessed 3 years.
Listen, he loved the farm.
He did.
I could not, every day that the weather would permit, I had to take him out on the farm. And I had to take him up around the cattle, not just to let him see, but I had to drive through the cattle and let him see them. And he knew everything about a tractor, no matter what it was.
You told me that one night at dinner. You said Brady could go through at 3 years old, and he could have given me a description of how that tractor operated.
Absolutely, he could crank it as well as I. And you could ask him and say, Brady, what's that? Oh, Papa, that's the alternator. And he knew everything about one. So I bought him a 12-volt John Deere, and he was so proud of that tractor. He just wore it. He'd run it dry every day on the battery, and we'd have to recharge it at night. And he told me the day before he died, he said, and we had gone up in the pasture to see the cattle, and he said, Papa, you won't have to mow the grass this year. I'll cut it and put it in the barn for you.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So I was going to give him my farm and all my equipment. He said he owned everything I had except one old red tractor. He says, Papa, everything's mine but that. He said, I'm going to let you have that.
Well, we want to talk a little bit about the fact that you are probably two of the most amazing grandparents in the world. Your daughter and her son were wonderful parents. and we are still looking for a child who needs a home. Another little boy possibly, or a little girl.
I
You
know.
could ride a little girl around on a tractor,
I
couldn't
could
you?
love a girl just as much as
Yes,
I
you
love.
could.
The
And-
love of a child is something. It's just can't. It's indescribable.
It is indescribable. We have put out messages on Facebook. We have put out messages everywhere we can. If somebody doesn't have the ability to take care of a child, if they're expecting, Ron and Shirley want to adopt again.
Sure.
They were very fortunate. God gave them one little precious little boy. And I said not to have ever met this child. I feel like I was with him. I've been to his grave several times. And when Freddie first took me up to that grave, I thought, wow, this is the most beautiful place. Now let's talk about where you laid Brady to rest. Why did you choose that church and that community?
That's where I grew up.
Okay.
I grew up on a
And
large.
that's where he would have ended up growing up.
Right. And, well, he grew, see, I grew up on a farm, a 365-acre farm, that is now covered by the backwaters of Hiawassee Lake.
Wow.
And so we were pushed out in 1937, and we came down to Liberty, North Carolina, and my grandfather bought a farm there. But that was our home church. That was the cemetery where we bury.
And what is the name of the church? Friendship?
It's Friendship Baptist Church.
Okay. And for people who haven't been, can we give folks directions how they get to the crash site, how they get to the church? Because I think anybody who ever drank and got behind a wheel needs to go to the crash site, needs to go to the cemetery, needs to look at the tribute to this little boy. Can you tell folks how to get there?
If you're traveling on US 64 west out of Murphy, turn on 294, and it's roughly, I'd say, 7 miles from where you turn on 294, and you'll see Friendship Baptist Church. And you'll also see the cemetery up on the hill. As you turn into the church, just bear right, and it'll take you right up to the top. And when you get to the top of the hill, just look, and you'll see the word Singleton.
Beautiful, beautiful
And-
cemetery, beautiful view.
And if you're coming, of course, on 64 east, or if you're coming up 5, take 68 north to the point where Highway 123, that's probably the shortest road in the state of Tennessee. It's only about a mile long. And it's easy to remember, 123. And that'll take you to the North Carolina-Tennessee line. And you travel there, and when you get over about 5 miles from the line, the road will forks. Take the right across the bridge. The other takes you to Hiawassee Dam. And you stay on that road, and it'll take you right up to Friendship Church, and you can turn left at that time and go up on the hill to find the cemetery.
Mary, what was it like to have to tell Grady that Brady had passed away?
I don't remember telling him. I think you remembered it, didn't you?
I did. I woke
remembered
up.
it.
That's the strangest thing. When I came to, I don't know how long I was out from the time they hit me, but I came to and I realized that Brady was in the branch. But I had my four-wheeler was a farm vehicle, and I had it heavily loaded with tools and equipment and so forth. And I knew I couldn't lift it off of him. There's no way I could possibly do it. And I hollered as loud as I could several times, but no one was in earshot. And I think to myself, I've got to get out of here and get help for my grandson. And I crawled through a barbed wire fence and tore up my legs, and it took them forever to heal. And as I was trying to climb up the bank, help did come. And it was my neighbor, Verlin Williamson, and I told him, I said, Verlin, I've got to get out of here and get help for my grandson. Somebody's got to help me. And he said, you've been seriously injured. He said, you're bleeding from the mouth and your ears and everything else. He said, sit still, lie still. And I said, no, I've got to get out of here and find help for my grandson. And then I went out. And I didn't wake up again until I was in the emergency room at Copper Basin Hospital. I woke up for about 2 or 3 minutes, maybe a minute, and Dr. Siddiqui was with me, and I said, Dr. Siddiqui, I lost my grandson. And he said, yes, we did the best we could, but we couldn't revive him.
Wow. Wow.
And then I went out, and I didn't wake up then for almost another month.
Okay, you were in Erlanger, and truly the doctors did not think you would make it.
You know, I had to have brain surgery that night.
The whole community was praying for you.
That's
and
right.
and I don't think you realized, because just like me, I was a newcomer to that area at the time. But people were calling me and saying, please ask for prayer for them. Please ask for prayer for them. The prayer chain was going. I'd never seen anything like it. And I knew at that time you were a very, very special man, because people would talk about you and tear up when they talked about you and what an incredible person you are. Now, you're also involved in the Tri-State Electric, is that right?
I've been on the board of directors for 40 years, and I've been president of it for the last 33.
And this wasn't a normal family, so you got an extra dose of prayer. You got an extra dose of prayer. And when the doctor said he couldn't believe you survived, he couldn't believe you healed, emotionally, you will still heal every single day of your life. Physically, will you ever get back to?
No, I can't get my balance back right now. That's the biggest problem. If I'm walking on level ground, I can do it so without a cane. But if I'm on unlevel ground, I have to have a cane. So I just can't get my balance. That's why I stooped forward. If I were to...
What an amazing blessing those two people were. I'm so honored that they were part of our lives. Freddie and I spent a lot of time with them on the road. We met them for dinner. We met them in different places. We spent time with them at Fields of the Wood. We spent time with them at their home. And I can tell you, theirs was truly a love story. And it's been an honor to be able to share their story. And I hope that somebody will learn from them, that you make a commitment, you stick to that commitment, and you do what is best in God's plan. And God's plan is for you to do right. And they lived such a righteous life. And I love those two people. Okay, I have a Bible verse that I want to share with y'all. And this is something, it's not even a Bible verse, it's something that Dawn sent me on this calendar she gave me, and I love this. And it speaks so clearly to what is happening in the world today. Jesus knows everything about every person who loves or hates him, yet he still chose to give his life for all of us, for sinners condemned to eternal death, that we might live. And I think after yesterday, when we shared our communion from First Baptist in Ball Ground, I think it's important that we understand that there are people out there in the world who don't believe in God. There are people out there who don't understand that He is our Father. He is our Almighty. He is everything. And I think that if you attend a church and you listen, if you pick up your Bible and you read, you will understand. And He does. He loves us. It says, yet He chose to give His life for all of us, for sinners condemned to eternal death, that we might live. You have a choice to make, and the choice is yours. And so I think yesterday at communion, it kind of, you realize that there are some people out there who really don't know where they're going, don't know who to trust, don't know. And the answer is very simple. It's a very easy answer. So, okay, I chose something I have to share with y'all. And I have on this shirt today because it was done in honor of my daughter. And it says, believe in yourself. My daughter had very, very little self-confidence. She had a lot of issues going on. She had some depression she was battling. She had had weight loss surgery and lost an extreme amount of weight and was feeling great about herself, but somebody kept telling her that she wasn't everything and she wasn't this and she wasn't that. And she kept believing that. And she sadly ended her life. For me to be able to share this DVD of my daughter smiling and happy and laughing, this is one of my very, very favorite Heart of the Homes, and I want you to sit back and I want you to remember her as I did. I try not to remember the dark days. I try to remember only the happy days, the days filled with joy, and she loved life. And if she could have just believed in herself. So I think it's so very, very important, if you know somebody who does not believe in themselves, who doesn't have confidence in themselves, please help them. Help them to get to a point of understanding that we are all His children and we are all so worthy of being loved. So here we go to my very favorite Heart of the Home. It's Pam McRae, my daughter Angela Burgess, Freddie Brackett, and I, as we just hang out and laugh and enjoy a little bit of living and some great music from Jennifer Brantley. So sit back and enjoy.
On the front porch singing old familiar song. The tractor's in the barn and the pastor's freshly mown. Looking through the screen door, the aroma draws you in to the heart of the home where old memories begin. The heart of the home, He's calling you in. kitchen, cooking with her friends, sharing recipes together, stories and songs, making new memories, the heart of the home.
Welcome to Heart of the Home. Once again, we are in beautiful, beautiful Fannin County, Georgia. Today's program is going to be about friends and helping other friends. Each of us today have been a caregiver to someone who possibly battled cancer. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about what you can do to help somebody in a situation that you hope you never find yourself in. My guests today, Freddie Brackett, my daughter Angela Burgess, and Pam McRae, have all been faced with the same problem. Freddie, you dealt with your brother Ronnie, who died of cancer after how many months?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
At age 48.
48. Now, what kind of cancer did Ronnie have?
It was stomach and esophagus.
Right. Angela, you helped take care of Mom. She lasted 2 years?
Yeah.
About 2 years. Pam, every day you see somebody that you cook for, that you help. Every single person here has been affected by cancer.
Right.
And you decided to do this program to help caregivers.
Exactly.
Those are the people, when you took care of Ronnie, did you feel a little pressure because you wanted to be there? You didn't feel like you could leave. It's important to spend the extra time with them.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you get to feel a little bit down. I know I did. When after 11 months and 3 weeks of taking care of my late husband and my mother, I got really depressed, and I needed something to cheer me up. Now, Pam, you've come up with a great idea for cheering up somebody.
Well, I'd like to take full credit for it, but I can't. One day I was a little bit down, feeling a little bit blue, and Mary Hopkins brought a little gift in to me, and we'll show you that later on in this segment about little box of cheers, she called it. And it really worked, and it raised my spirits. So when you and I were discussing Heart of the Home, what better person to observe today and honor is the caregiver, because they get forgotten, just like you said.
That's true.
You want to talk about what we're doing for them today?
We do. One thing we want to talk about is sometimes I get really, not tired, but down just a little bit. And when I get quiet, you always say, what's wrong? If I get quiet, you think something's wrong. Sometimes I get thoughtful and I think about things, and I do get a little bit down. I have found the best way to stay positive and stay focused is to think about somebody else. To think about somebody else and something small you can do for that. Your mom is a great person to bake cookies for somebody. Do a little something for somebody.
She is.
Now, your Aunt Betty is facing cancer right now. And her husband has been instrumental in getting her through this, hadn't he?
Yes, he has.
He's a great, great guy, and together they're going to conquer this. But everybody needs a little positive somebody coming into your life. And today we're going to show little things you can do for that caregiver. Just a little something. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Tell me about the pear preserves you got on North Georgia Now today.
I know. I've been really sick with a bug.
For a week.
And I actually lost 10 pounds in a week and a half. So I know I was very sick. But these pear preserves have been on my mind for a while. And, you know, sometimes you get to thinking about a food and you want it because of the texture, the flavor, and I love the grittiness of the pear and the sweet. And I got surprised with Freddie's mama made pear preserves and sent them. And that was my little treat, you know, that I got to eat, and actually kept it down and was very happy because that's a homemade gift.
And just a
you
little,
cannot,
a little
pay for
gesture.
nothing, yeah.
A little gesture.
And matter of fact, where is it?
It's here. It's here, and we're going to show it in just a minute. We're going to get some of Pam's biscuits. Show it, not share it. That's right. We're going to get some of the jelly and some of your biscuits, and we're going to talk about if you do nothing but bake a little basket of bread and take to your neighbor. Take to somebody who possibly, one of the things when I was a caregiver, being there 24/7 got very, very hard. If somebody would relieve me for an hour, just 1 hour, it made such a difference.
But then you have to live with the guilt of leaving for an hour.
Exactly.
You know, because you want to stay positive that the person's going to make it and live, but then in the back of your mind when you leave, you're thinking, well, I'm leaving and they could pass on. You know, so you've got constant turmoil inside of you. Taking care of the person, then the guilt of, do I leave? You know, you need time for yourself.
But they need to take that break to get refreshed, to bring back positive energy.
That's
you know, if you just keep going, you get down and out. You know, go off and just make yourself get away and grab on some new strength. You know,
one of the things we talked about with cancer, stress is a big cancer thing. Now, Ronnie was in the trucking business and the grading business. A lot of stress there. a lot of stress there. And stress is something we need to kind of keep down. I have learned this year to appreciate just little things, just little things. And I have a friend, Sue Taylor, who actually brought me some Blue Frog today, and it has actually given me some energy. I'd never tried it before. Now, you've had some, I've had some. It's got natural sugars in it, and it actually revitalizes you. Since you've been sick, I think it'd be good if you drank a little bit of this, and it boosts you a little bit, you know. It's got a lot of good things in it.
Harsh like a soda, or is it mild like
No,
a
it's
juice?
mild. It's mild like a juice, yeah. So to kick you up a little bit, but Sue has been instrumental in helping us raise money in
Yes,
McCaysville.
a lot of money
Yeah,
for the meal.
right.
A lot of money, and that is, everybody can do a little something,
With
a
their
little
famous
something.
barbecue, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So today, Pam is going to introduce us to some new, easy things that everybody can do.
This one
looks
here's
like
a half a second.
Yeah, it looks like a
is
Rachel
the-
Ray thing.
This is a cheating version of a Caesar. The iceberg is kind of starting to become
smells great.
obsolete.
Yeah.
So you can get it for nothing. It's pennies. So you take your iceberg lettuce, core it, wedge it. They cut this wedge a little big, but anyway, you wedge it, you lay it on the plate, you drizzle your dressing, you sprinkle some bacon bits on the top.
Is that a
little
homemade
parm.
dressing?
No, it's not.
Okay,
But you can make homemade Caesar
Okay,
dressing.
okay.
But that was just out of the bottle. Quick and easy, simple, save time. And this
would
dressing
you
is a
show
good
up
dressing.
with this as a meal for a caregiver?
Well, my idea of what I would do if you're trying to get in my mindset is I would have that caregiver come to my
Okay.
house, and I would host and have it all about her from beginning to end, you know.
A
and
full treat.
A full treat. That time away, relaxing, you know, and this is her
And
first
really,
thing.
1 hour. If you can just give them 1 hour.
Yeah. You know, and just wait on her, you know, take care of it. And we're saying her. There's lots of guys
Oh,
like Grady
yeah.
that have done
Right.
caregiving, you know. But you want to leave them recharged. But this is the beginning step, the first small thing, so that you can spend time sharing with your friend and talking and helping boost their spirits
Right.
instead of fussing over a big old salad. You just cut your wedge off there and go
That's
for
it. And I think one of the things, did you find you neaded somebody to talk to when Ronnie was sick?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
I
And
think
then-
that's really important.
And you also need your time to yourself to reevaluate yourself, because there's a lot of things going through your mind.
That's
at that
right.
time.
That's right. Well, we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to go to some great music. We have a lady here today who is doing, you're a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. I love the old country music. You taught me about a lady, Miss Loretta Lynn, I've loved her forever. Connie Smith, I loved forever. Today we brought a lady in from Nashville who's going to sing a song once a day. Now, it's from a time period, how old are you? Well, she's been around longer than that, but she's married to a very young man. She's married to Marty Stewart, and today Jennifer Brantley is going to sing a
thought you were saying she was married to
I didn't know I was married to Marty. I need somebody who's mucho.
But we're going to share some good old country music. Normally we do only gospel, but today, because Jennifer happens to specialize in old country, kind of like me, am I old country?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. A little bit.
And Jennifer is a beautiful,
She
tiny, petite
is
little lady with this big old
Huge
booming
voice. So sit back and you're going to enjoy Jennifer Brantley singing Once a Day, made famous by Connie Smith.
When you found somebody new, I thought I never would forget you, for I thought then I never would. But time has taken all the pain away. Until now, I'm down to hurting once a day. Once a day, all day long, and once a night, from dusk till dawn.
Welcome back to Heart of the Home. Today is about things we love. I love old country music. You love old country music. I love doing little things for people that mean a lot. Now, Angela, you know, you help take care of Mom.
Yes.
And toward the end, if she mentioned something, we tried to do it.
Yes.
You told me yesterday if Ronnie mentioned a food that you thought he would want, you would drive into Jasper and try to find that food. Many times it's too late. They can't taste it anymore. But if a caregiver's there 24/7 with them, the caregiver needs a special meal.
Yes.
So take them out of the setting, and you've suggested something really simple, an iceberg wedge, simple. What is this next dish? Because that looks like something I have never cooked.
Okay, this is salmon. This is something.
How did
here-
I tell you I cook salmon? Double Q.
Well,
Open a can of double Q.
we all know
I've never
about
done
salmon
this.
patties, but we never go into new areas with it. It's really an easy food, and it's really easy to get now.
And good for you.
Every grocery store is full of good things for you. You know, if you're going to eat it, I think they paraphrase this as the brain food. You know, this
Here.
is the brain food.
Give us
so
some
I
of
need to
it.
be eating a lot of this.
Actually,
But anyway,
Tori and I both cook salmon like this all the time,
Right.
and it's so fast.
Yeah.
We love it.
Well, I was going to demonstrate and show you, but it's really easy just to tell you. A little bit of cracked pepper to your liking, salt and pepper. If you want to do garlic, that's okay.
Lots.
But, you know, Angela's a garlic person.
She's the garlic queen.
But Miss Sherry doesn't care for it. My favorite is just lemon pepper. So I've taken lemon pepper, it really good. And then I put quite a bit of oil in my pan. And you're going to let your pan get to the point to where it's not smoking, but you know, right that temperature right before. You know, everybody's oven adjusts different. And you can grill it too.
Now I was going to say,
And then we bake it sometimes.
And you can do it in the oven.
That's what you're gonna
It's a
do.
very versatile food. You can do it either way. I always do skin down. And there's this little telltale. This is what I teach the guys in the back when I taught them how to cook salmon for the first time. You see the thickness of the salmon right here? If you will watch, put it skin down, it'll start climbing, and you'll see it start changing its color. It's a perfect line. You won't have to second guess. It tells you, and that's when you flip it and you cook it the same amount of time. You know, if it was 2 minutes to get to that point, 2 minutes on the other side. And some people like it like that, just planked. They like it with a little bit of the cool center. It's just like a steak, you know. But you don't want to be flipping and flopping it because it's flaky and it'll fall apart. So, you know.
and it dries
just-
out.
Yeah. So just watch your rise. Just watch your rise. And when it gets to the halfway mark, if you want it completely done all the way through, then you flip it, same amount of time, and you've got it done. You can do it in the oven. You could deep fry it, but I've never eaten deep fried salmon.
I don't
I'd
think
say
I'd
it'd
wanna
blow
ruin
apart and
that.
make a bomb. But you can bake it, you can grill it, you know. The grill, most people now have the little thing that sits on top of their grill now to do fillets with, fish fillets with. So it might be a little tricky to get it off of there after you flip
Now, I
it
did
over.
this in Alaska, but I wrapped it and baked it, and then we flaked it and made a wonderful dip with cream cheese and garlic and diced onions.
Oh, yes.
Little tiny fine onions. That's the only way I've done salmon like this.
Right.
But can
This
we?
is what, that just thought of a fast tip. Yes, go ahead and serve that
I was
up.
going to ask, can we let Mr. Brackett taste this, because his mother makes world famous salmon patties, and the thing he likes about it is the taste of the salmon.
She was
I like-
talking about her
Yeah.
little tinfoil trip. I did this camping. I put my whole fish in there, and I did my lemon and all that. Did this so it had a handle, and that was that.
Right.
Nice
What do you
little
call them?
pouch.
Lemon and pepper.
Lemon pepper, yeah.
Is it good? Now, would
it
you?
good?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
You eat a salmon
I
patty,
like
won't
salmon.
eat real salmon?
Okay.
She's gonna eat canned salmon and won't eat
I
that.
swear, y'all. Let me.
Come
let me
on, be
try
brave
mine.
today.
Okay, let's try
Be
it.
brave
very
today.
Very
It
good.
is good. It is good.
Yeah. It's the stuff.
It is.
And what you like about your mom's salmon patty, she only uses a little tiny bit of flour.
I like
And salmon.
I like to be able to taste the salmon. And if you put a lot of ingredients in salmon patties, whatever it
It
may
camouflages it.
be,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you
this was
notice
quick.
when you were cutting into it how it flaked away like that?
Yes, I do.
That's perfect.
And it's
Yeah.
not dry at all. Now,
Perfect.
let's talk about the cost of this. If you're going to invite somebody over and you're taking care of a caregiver, you're on a budget because we've talked about that a lot lately. Everybody's on a budget. Where would you find this on sale?
Well, the neatest thing, that's one reason this triggered an idea with me for the home person. Now in the grocery store, you can get this in the frozen section if you don't want to pay the extra money for the fresh. And it's a great filet. You see, it comes just like that, 4 whole fillets. It's already cut and trimmed for you into bone, and it's in a bag, and it's marked Alaskan salmon. So it's safe, you know,
How many
because you need to be
ounces do you
careful.
think that was?
That right there comes out to be 4 ounces per serving.
Okay.
You know, which is it's a good, if you've got good stuff
That's a
to go
pound.
with
That's
it.
great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
So right now we're going to take a break. We're going to go back to Jennifer Brantley. She's going to sing a song. Do you know anything about 4 in the morning, driving us at 4 in the morning? Driving the motor home and
Why are
staying
y'all
out
out at
too
4 in
late?
the morning and I'm in the bed asleep?
Because we go to these singings and we get home late. She's going to sing a song that Farron Young made popular years and years ago called 4 in the morning. Could you sing that song?
No, I could not.
Do you remember that song?
No, actually, I don't.
Well, you're going to be treated then
wrote it
because
in blank.
this is an old song, but Jennifer's going to give it a new twist. So sit back and enjoy Jennifer Brantley singing 4 in the morning.
It's 4 in the morning. Once more the dawning just woke up, wanting in rain.
Welcome back. Love the old country music and love the idea that I have some great memories. I have some great memories of my mom. I have some great memories of family members we lost. And Pam, you've come up with a great plan to do something for caregivers. So far we've had two simple recipes. This looks like the simplest of all.
Oh, it's no
Fresh
problem at all.
vegetables.
Other than chopping your vegetables, you just line them up and choose anything that'll go in the oven. So whatever your decor is with your table and how you're setting your table, I chose the little black one with my table setting today. And you just line them up any way you want, you know, in your little bowl till they look like you want. And you can do onions too. We didn't do onions because we didn't want to smell them while we were working
What about bell
here.
peppers? Could you do
Yes,
that?
bell pepper, mushroom, the sky's the limit. Whatever you got coming in your garden or whatever's fresh available at the grocery store. I guess you could do it with frozen too, but frozen tends to have too much water.
No.
And you can shoot too and get the pre-sliced.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah.
For
If
some,
you've got the money.
maybe a few ingredients.
Yeah. Save yourself a little bit of time. But you line them up, salt, pepper, put a little bit of oil on them, preferably olive oil. It has a little better flavor to complement the vegetables. And then you put some parm on it, pop it in the oven, and you just bake it till it gets nice and gooey. If
About
you
how
put a
many
gooey
minutes?
cheese on it, I'd say 350 for no longer than 25 minutes when you're cooking something this small and this size
I'm going to cheat.
vegetable.
I want to see,
You
is it
sure
crisp?
can.
Is it a,
No, it's not. It's just like a saute, but done in the oven.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like a saute.
And it's
You will
pretty.
love it.
It looks really fancy.
But when you do something like the salmon steak that we done earlier, and you've got the plate with the salmon steak and a little bit of lettuce, and you put that down, and it really is becoming
An
to the
elegant
eye.
meal, yeah.
It just really looks top notch, you know, for a little bit of simple 5-minute little tweaking to put on things to make it look nice.
The hardest thing about this is talking the person into showing up for dinner.
Right.
Because we all feel guilty. We don't want to leave. You know, you can't do that. You know how it is. I know how it is. We've all been there, done that.
I have a suggestion for that because we were talking about that earlier. Team up with someone. You be the host and do the entertaining of the caregiver, but get someone, a good friend of yours, to partner up with you and say, I'm going to go replace you tonight while you go over to so-and-so's house and just relax and unwind a little bit. Get you somebody that's determined. Maybe someone like me and Sherry.
A little bit.
Kind of somebody, you know.
I know somebody. Jen Roberts could convince me to do
that's a good candidate right there.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
we need 1 hour. We need that. You saw that. We all know that.
That
It's so
downtime to
important.
regenerate and get that smile back on. Sometimes that it's hard to wear that smile when you're troubled and your heart's hurting and you're losing someone.
It's tough.
You know, it's hard
Well,
time.
one of the things I learned in the loss of my mom and my late husband was don't plan your life, live your life. And live your life to the absolute fullest. Now, the motorhome has that on the front of it, doesn't it? And every week we find showing up, we meet a lot of nice people at the gospel singings. They brought me from a deep, deep depression. Sometimes 1 hour with somebody special made a difference in my life. And I know it can in yours too. If you have a caregiver that needs a little support, jump in and do something. Now, the simplest thing of all is our last item, Mayfield ice cream.
Of course.
With
none other than Mayfield.
a cookie, just a cookie.
Choose your favorite cookie.
I would have chosen chocolate chip.
Right. I don't
I
think
would
I
have
would have
chosen
chosen
a little
molasses.
chocolate.
But,
No,
but
no.
since we're from the South, we should pay
chocolate
tribute to
Chocolate,
some molasses.
chocolate chip.
Yeah.
That's
With
right.
chocolate sprinkles also.
But you can do your home-baked cookie, or you can do a store-bought cookie.
Okay.
These are Archway, which they have just that right texture, that sandwichy texture. A real crisp cookie will work too, but that Archway, that puffiness, and a little bit of crispness on the outside. But this is like a no-brainer. You get your ice cream
Hard.
soup.
Do you think you could do
I
this?
mean,
think so.
I believe we could all handle this.
Yeah.
And that is that.
And let me tell you what you can do to this.
Oh,
Roll it
you
and
got
give
my
me
idea.
chocolate chips.
You can do it in
Yay.
chocolate chips. For kids, I've done it in sprinkles and a lot of things like that just really make it real festive looking.
Well, we're going to share these items with our audience today, and we're going to share our recipes. Pam, thank you for inviting
Thank
us
you for
once
having
again to
me.
Fannin County.
And I
if you-
recommend the trout.
and I recommend the meatloaf. You recommend the meatloaf.
And the salmon, that
And
was
the
pretty
salmon.
good.
Hey, y'all, what are we going to say? Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.